Money doesn't bring happiness.
Really interesting story. A guy named Chuck Feeney. He started a company called DFS, the duty-free stores in airports.
Hmm.
He made, I think, at the peak of his wealth, he was worth about $9 billion, and this was like in the '90s when that was a lot of money. Still is a lot of money, but the well-known part of Chuck Feeney is that despite that wealth, he lived like an ordinary person. He lived in a one-bedroom apartment. He flew coach. He drove like a small a normal car. Lived like a normal guy. And some people criticize that from that. He gave all of his money to charity. He gave $9 billion away, lived like a monk himself. The less known part of Chuck Feeney that I think is more important is that when he first got wealth, he became wealthy in the 1980s, he lived the life of a billionaire. He had a fleet of private jets. He had mansions all over the world. He had a yacht. And after doing it for a couple of years, he was like, I don't like any of this. He's like, I like being an ordinary, simple person. And so I'm going to go live an ordinary life. I don't care what the world tells me this is what I should want now that I have money. But he's like, but I don't. I want simplicity. And what I like about that is not that he chose to live like a monk, because I personally wouldn't want to do that. If I had that, I would have a jet if I had that kind of money. So it's not to say that he did it right, but what I like that he did is that he said, I don't care what the world tells me to like. I'm going to do it on my own terms. And that's true independence.
That's true status.
That's true status too. He's like, I don't care. That's the ultimate definition of FU money, of like so much money that like, I don't care. You tell me I'm supposed to live in a mansion in Beverly Hills, but I like my one-bedroom apartment in San Francisco. I like my buddies over here. Another person who's done that to a very real extent is Warren Buffett. Lives in the same house today that he bought when he was 27 or whatever it was.
And he's got 100 billion or something.
Right. And of course, he could live anywhere. He could buy anything. But he likes being with his friends, doing it on, likes playing bridge with his buddies.
In the first case, though, that gentleman had to have his dream fail him first before he realized. And so this raises another question, which is, does the viewer at home have to make the $100 million and then taste it, buy the mansion, to realize that it was never about the mansion?
I think the answer to that is yes.
Oh, God.
That it's very difficult. There's a thing where, I forget who said this, but like they're responding to the quote, money doesn't buy happiness. And they're like, okay, but let me go figure that out for myself first. Like if you don't have a lot of money and you see rich people tripping over themselves, and people like Will Smith saying, like, I was no happier at all when I was rich than when I was poor. Actually, I was happier when I was poor. If you are poor, when you hear that, you're like, bullshit. I don't believe it. I have to go figure it out for myself. I think a lot of lessons in life you have to learn firsthand.
Especially when all the problems staring you in your face are somewhat associated to money. Like the pain in your belly, the bills on your desk, the threats from the court.